In this unit, we want to look at data capturing. When you have distributed your survey and collected them back, you need to code them and enter them into Excel. So it is expected that by the end of this unit, you should be able to code the responses from the questionnaire for them to be entered into SPSS. So let us go to Excel where we have the template. When you have collected your survey and you want to enter the data, you usually place it by your side. So I have placed this questionnaire here to show you how to enter the data into Excel. Now they have been filled and we have it here. It is important that before you enter your data, you number the questionnaires from 1 to the end. For instance, if you have number of questionnaires up to 30 you want to enter, you should be able to number them 1, 2, 3 to 30. It's very important, and the reason why you should do this is in a case where you have decided to use the data, maybe after you entered the whole thing, now time to analyze or take the data to SPSS, you find out that there is a wrong entry somewhere. Let's say questionnaire number 18 has a wrong entry or a suspicious entry. For you to be able to trace it, what you just do is you go and pick the questionnaire number 18. You go and pick that case, and when you bring it, you'll be able to trace where the problem is coming from. But if you did not number the questionnaire, you find out that it will be difficult to trace back the entry. If you also gave it to data entry assistants who assisted you, it will also help you to identify where the problem is coming from. So it's important that you number the questionnaire. And I usually use a different color to number my own because at times the distributors of the questionnaire or the owners of the questionnaire may have numbered it for one reason or the other. And when they have returned them to you or they gave them to you to help them analyze, you should be able to use a different color to number yours so that the data entry assistants will know the number that you have written which represent the cases. Unless you are comfortable with the color, I usually use red if the person who gave me the questionnaire used black or blue, or if there's none at all, I use red or any other color. So now to enter the data into Excel, remember that the numbers represent the questions. All these Q1, Q2 represent the questions, while the number here represent the cases. Questionnaire number 1 represents 1 and 2, like that, it keeps going. So we are going to start entering the data now. Now Q1 is name of your community and the entry there is Nori. So I'm going to type Nori. After that, you press the tab on your keyboard or you use the right arrow to move to the right side. I usually use the tab so that by the time I finish entering the last entry, I press enter, it jumps me back to Q1 number 2. So the next question is gender and the option selected is 2, is female. That means it is 2. Remember that we are coding I to be 1, II to be 2, III 3, IV 4 in that order. If the questionnaire also was designed using A, B, C for the options, then A becomes 1, B becomes 2, C becomes 3 in that order. So now that female is selected, that is the second one, we enter 2 and press tab to move to the right side. The next question says your age and the entry there is 29, so we'll type 29, press tab to move on. The next question there is what is your place of residence? The selection is first option, that is 1. We move on to the next question, which is highest level of education attained. If you look at it, the option selected is secondary level, that is 3. So we enter 3 and move on to Q6, that's question number 6. The selection there for the question which says your occupation is business, that is III. So we enter 3 and move on. The next question is Q7 and the option there selected is Christianity. So it is 1. We move on. Number 8 has a quantitative data entry. So it says your approximate monthly income level, that is 65,000. So we'll enter 65,000 and move on. You don't need to enter the sign, the dollar sign here. If you must enter any sign for currency, it has to be in SPSS. So we move on to the next one, which is Okay, we did not have this. Let me get this done. Okay, so when we scroll up, we still have it. So the next one is Q9. Q9, so the entry there is 1, is single, that is 1. We type 1. So we'll move on to Q11. Remember, I removed Q10. So Q11, the entry there is occasionally, that is 3. So we'll go there and enter 3 and move to the next one. Now, the next question is a multiple response question. This means you can select more than one option. Now, to enter the multiple response sets, we do it differently from the way we do the single response sets. The single response sets take only one option, that's you select only one option, while the multiple response sets, you select, we have more than one option. The way we do it is each option, like we have the Q12i, has 2 responses. What I mean is, if it is selected, it becomes yes. If it is not selected, it becomes no. So we are going to code selected to be 1, not selected to be 2. You can as well code it 1 and 0. But in this case, we are going to code them 1 and 2. So if you look at the Q12i, which is selected, we are going to enter 1. So we enter 1. Now, move to the next one, which is Q12ii. In this case, you are required to enter 1 year, 2 years, and all that. So what we are going to do is we also put 1, because it is 1 that is selected. If it is 2, we put 2. So we're going to code it in SPSS, telling it that for Q12ii, it's going to be 1 for 1 year, 2 for 2 years, and all that. If it's 6 months, we'll code it as such. So that is for that. But for the other options, there will be 1 or 2. So for Q12ii, which is not selected, or to Q12vi, we are going to enter 2 all through. So we'll go to the next one, enter 2, enter 2, enter 2, enter 2, and enter 2, Q12vi. So we'll move on to Q12vii. So Q12vii is selected. After that, Q12vii to Q12x, not selected. So we'll go there and enter 1, which because it's selected. Then Q12vii, not selected, not selected, not selected. Okay, so let's go to Q12xi. Q12xi, okay, not selected also. So Q12xi, let's enter 2 there and move to Q12xii. So let's go down, scroll down and see. So Q12xii is selected. After that, Q12xii to Q12xvi, not selected. So let's enter 1 for Q12xii, which is selected. Then go to the next cell and enter 2 because it's not selected. Enter 2 to Q12xvi. So let's go down and check Q12xvi. Let's scroll to this point. So Q12xvi, let's see. Q12xvi, yes, that's why we stopped, not selected. Then Q12xvii is selected. After that, the rest of them are not selected. So let's go. Let's scroll to this point. Drag it to this point. So Q12xvii is selected. So we enter 1. Then the rest are not selected. We enter 2 all through. So that is the way to populate the template for a multiple response set. So this is how to enter your data. We have entered the first case, that is the first questionnaire, and it took all about 1. So you pick the next questionnaire, that's questionnaire number 2, and you also do likewise. When you are done, you find out that you have coded your data. The next thing to do will be to define the variables in SPSS and copy this data and get them into SPSS to verify if every entry is well done. So when you're done, this is how the whole entry will be. So we are going to make use of this entry in the next video. Thank you very much for being with me in this video. I'll see you in the next unit.